quite simple. Press the free like button if you think that The Rock actually put over Austin Theory in that segment. Because to me, my opinion, Austin Theory looked great in that segment, being in the same ring with The Rock, based on his look. I feel like The Rock actually chose to work with him. Bruh, it's been 4 years since we've seen The Rock on TV, and he chose to work with Austin Theory on his first night back after 4 years away. I feel like that bodes well for Austin Theory moving forward, because he is an upcoming young wrestler, and The Rock chose to work with him after 4 years away. See, so many people are always hard on Theory. I'm like, bruh, The Rock chose to work with him. The Rock chose him for a segment, which means The Rock is very high on him. The Rock made him look like a credible heel. So to me, this bodes well for Austin Theory moving forward. Okay, I must add this one last thing about Jade Cargill coming to the WWE. Listen, if you think she should be in NXT, then you are burying All Elite Wrestling, because she was a top star there. She was 50-0. So by your logic, you are saying most of their roster is filled with people who should be in NXT. So that means that All Elite Wrestling sucks. If you think a top star like Jade Cargill is NXT level and not main roster level, damn, what about Darby? So you are saying that MJF is a guy who should be in NXT? That's what you're saying. Sammy G should be in NXT? That's what you're saying, you stupid idiots. You should want her to be on the main roster quickly, because that makes your company look good. That means your company has top talent that can be on the main roster for a bigger company. So you should pray and hope she comes to the main roster and not the minor leagues, which is NXT. That's developmental. Why would you want one of your old top stars from All Elite Wrestling down in NXT? That makes your company look bad. That means your company is NXT light. Dum-dum. Think before you talk. So by your logic, hey, let's send Adam Page to NXT. Let's send Ethan Page to NXT. Let's send Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs. Let's send Orange Cassidy to NXT. Hold on, no, but I thought you said they were stars. Let's send Kenny Omega to NXT. Hold on, no, I thought you said he was one of the best of all time in the world. That's weird. Let's send who else? Who else is top star? Let's send Rey Fenix to NXT, because by your logic, he is not a top star. He is a mid-level guy, right? So I'm saying, think before you talk. I'm gonna say it again. You gotta pick and choose who to send to NXT. You can't be saying some of your top talents should be in developmental for a bigger company, because that lowers your company, which you are supporting, which is All Elite Wrestling, you idiots. Hold on, no. Why stop there? Let's send Chris Statlander to NXT. Let's send Ricky Starks to NXT. Let's send Jay White, Juice Robinson. Let's send fucking Penta. Let's send them to NXT. Let's send Britt Baker to NXT, right? Even though Jade Cargill was the most heavily pushed star in that company for the past 3 years, but she shouldn't be on the main roster. Okay, so she was ready for your shitty ass company, but by your logic though, right? She's not ready for a bigger company. Okay, so stop saying that All Elite Wrestling is better than the WWE. Because if she was your top star with a huge monster push for your shit company, but you were saying she should be in development for a bigger company, that lowers All Elite Wrestling as a minor league company all along. So she was good enough for your company on your main roster, but not good enough to be on a bigger, better stage. You can't make this up on how dumb you people are. And I heard that next year the Royal Rumble will be in Florida, the same hometown state of Roman Reigns and The Rock. So that gives The Rock a strong reason to show up and cause trouble for Roman Reigns. So hopefully I can make this video quick as possible. So here's why The Rock has come back to the WWF. It's because he was promised 50-50 booking. The reason The Rock has not faced Roman Reigns for the past 6 years is because he does not want to lose to this guy. He doesn't want to be a part of the "I must make Roman Reigns look strong" agenda. He doesn't want to be a part of that. He wants 50-50 booking. He wants to trade wins with Roman Reigns. Now, listen, you come to this channel if you want to hear factual news about Cody Rhodes, right? Look. Do not listen to any numbskull or dumbass on Twitter saying, this is going to ruin Cody Rhodes. No, bitch. The Rock wouldn't have come back if this was going to ruin Cody Rhodes. This is going to help Cody Rhodes. And here's why. The reason The Rock didn't come back at this year's WrestleMania was because he felt like there was no story. And most importantly, he didn't want to lose to Roman Reigns. So, what makes this year any different? If he says there was no story, okay, by that same logic, there's going to be a major story, and this is going to involve Cody Rhodes. With The Rock wanting to face Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania, that is a huge sign that most likely Roman Reigns will lose those titles before WrestleMania because The Rock does not want those titles. Why would you have Roman Reigns walk into WrestleMania facing The Rock for a non-title match? So when they face, most likely it will be because who will be the tribal chief of their family, which doesn't need a title. That's what I told you about Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should have lost at this year's WrestleMania because him and Jey would have felt more organic. It would have been must-see TV because Roman, most likely, he would have lost. So that would have been a better main event. So I think there's a strong possibility we might get Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Listen, but look, at the end of the day, I think Roman Reigns will lose those titles before WrestleMania. And I think The Rock is going to help Cody Rhodes on winning those titles. That's going to be the story moving forward. That's why The Rock didn't come back last year. There was no story. Now he has a reason to face Roman Reigns. He's going to cost him those titles. Because look, man, at this point, man, Roman Reigns has done nothing with those titles. What's the point of him having them? So there's two scenarios. Either Roman will lose those titles to Cody Rhodes before WrestleMania, which will be a bigger story heading into WrestleMania. Because Roman will be pissed off at The Rock, which will be must-see TV. Because, I mean, they had no conflict, right? So, by him costing Roman those titles, that's where the story begins. That's the conflict. Now they have a reason to face at WrestleMania. Roman is pissed off at The Rock. That's going to be a heated feud that we need, right? So there's two scenarios. One, Roman drops those belts to Cody Rhodes before WrestleMania, or Roman has to wrestle back-to-back nights. Maybe night one, Roman and Cody Rhodes. Night two, Rock and Roman. So those are the only two options. Listen, at the end of the day, next year, Cody Rhodes will be a world champion. That's all I'm saying. Listen, you idiots. Roman Reigns would not pass Hulk Hogan. I mean, what numbskull even made that rumor? Bruh, that's false. He's not passing Hulk Hogan. This is not the 80s. Okay? Let me repeat, this is not the 80s. There's stars on this roster now. This is not the 80s. He's not of a level of a Hulk Hogan to have that kind of reign. The reason Hogan had that kind of reign because he was the biggest draw. Let me repeat, Hogan was the biggest draw. He sold the most merch. So why wouldn't you have Hogan hold the belt for that long? If he was your biggest merch seller, he was your biggest draw, he was your biggest ticket fucking attraction. Point blank period. So yeah, that makes sense. It makes no sense for Roman to hold the belt for that long. He's not passing Hulk Hogan. Get that out your fucking skull. That's not gonna happen. Listen, why would they give Cody Rhodes his own documentary about him wanting to be a world champion? So by your logic, they are going to wait until fucking 2025? Like, that's not gonna happen. He will be a world champion by next year. He has been dropping hints. He says he doesn't want to face Seth Rollins. He doesn't want that world title. He has said it a dozen times. He wants the title that Roman has, not the title that Seth has. You fucking idiots. And most likely, he was traded for Jey Uso. Very, very soon, Cody Rhodes will announce that he's coming to SmackDown. He was a guy that was traded for Jey Uso. That's where this story is heading. Because SmackDown needs stars. So, there's two scenarios. Rock will face Roman Reigns no matter what at next year's WrestleMania. But Roman would not have any belts. It will be that kind of match. Which will mean more. That means, like, okay, The Rock has a strong chance of beating him if Roman has no titles, which will mean the match will mean more. Because there's no way in hell Cody Rhodes is going one more year without a world title. That makes no sense. He is the second biggest star in the company next to Roman Reigns, so that makes no sense. Why would you have John Cena wait 3 years to be a world champion? If he's hot, if the crowd loves him, that makes no sense. So yes, I see Roman Reigns dropping those belts to Cody Rhodes before next year's WrestleMania to set up his feud with The Rock. So I bet you're wondering, if Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns next year for the world title before WrestleMania, who will be Cody Rhodes' opponent at WrestleMania? I think it's going to be Gunther. Because I think he will win the Royal Rumble next year. Because last year, he was the Iron Man. Usually, when you are the Iron Man, that means that you most likely will win it next year. Because that means they were grooming you to be a top guy and showcase you to the world for a reason. And Gunther has been booked strong like a top guy. And I heard that Triple H eventually wants him to be in the world title picture. And Cody and Gunther had a great match last year at the Royal Rumble. And I heard that Cody Rhodes wants to run it back with Gunther. I heard that Cody Rhodes is a fan of him and he wants to work with him. So I think that's why he lasted for as long as he did at last year's Royal Rumble. So look, man, that's just what I think. But The Rock does not want to be a world champion. So that bodes well for Cody Rhodes' story. The Rock doesn't want those titles. He just wants to beat him. That's it. I'm done.